Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Sir Meerkat, and welcome back to the Moto Meerkat channel. So today I present to you all the first episode of my F1 prediction series. So every week before the race weekend, myself and one of your favourite motorsport YouTubers will be comparing our predictions for the finishing order at that week's race. So as we all know, F1 finally starts this Sunday with the Australian Grand Prix, providing that it's not cancelled due to coronavirus, but it seems pretty set in stone at the moment. And for this episode, and indeed my first ever collaboration on this channel, I'm joined by Jordan from the F1 Debate Show. Hi Jordan.
Hi mate, thank you very much for having me on. I'm very excited.
No problem at all, mate, no problem at all. So how are you feeling as we edge closer to lights out on Sunday? Are you excited, apprehensive? What are you feeling?
I'm very excited. I always am at this time of year. I'm like a kid at Christmas. I think that's the best way to describe it. But
with the best present
absolutely.
ever.
I mean, you can get me any bike, you can get me any games console you want. Nothing can come close to Formula One. It never will.
Nothing can come close. Yeah. Oh, I completely agree with you that I'm so excited for Lights Out, so excited. But without further ado, let's get straight into the predictions. Let's start with the last year's backmarkers Williams, but will we see them go up the grid this year? We'll have to wait and see. So let's start with Nicholas Latifi. Where are you putting him to finish on Sunday?
I'm putting him to finish 17th.
17th? Okay, what's your reasoning for that?
Well, firstly of all, I'm not expecting much from Williams. I'm expecting better things than last year, of course. I mean, last year was an utter disaster.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen in testing, lap-wise, it looks pretty good. Reliability looks good. The fact that they turned up on time was good. And they were the first car on track. So all these little things just add up to... It's going to be I wouldn't say like a brilliant season for Williams, but I'm saying like it's going to be an alright kind of season. A better one at that. Latifi... He's not a driver that he's not exciting me. He's not like getting us like on the edge of my seat, like, oh, what's he going to do next? It's just, for me, it's just Latifi. And I mean, there might be some fans out there, but I'm not a big lover of him. And I mean, I don't rate him highly. He could surprise me. I mean, I predicted Albon to finish last year, and then look what happened there. So again, it's only predictions.
Interesting prediction, that one. Yeah,
it was at the time, definitely. But no, I think for me, Latifi 17th. I can't see him doing much at all. Like I said, he's not really he's an alright driver, but yeah, I'm not expecting big things from him. But like I said, he could surprise me at all.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you on that. I've got down Latifi as 18th, and my notes are just slowest. That was my complete note for him. So yeah, I completely agree. He just hasn't really wowed in previous formulas, being in Formula 2 for years and just not really doing much. I really think it's just a full...
Since 2014. I think last year was his best position, his finishing position in a single-seater series. With
a properly, like, not a very, very good F2 grid as well, I think we can all say.
Exactly. Yeah, it was just... bang average.
Yeah. So not particularly encouraging there for Latifi. But we'll move on to George Russell. Where have you put him?
Well, I've got him to retire from this Grand Prix.
Interesting. Why's that?
Well, I think he had a really good record. Well, Williams had a very good reliability record last year when I think the first retirement came at, I think, was it the Singapore Grand Prix? Off the top of my head?
You tested me.
It was... I can't remember. I think it was. Obviously, anybody watching this, just feel free to correct me in the comments.
Yeah, tell us how wrong we are.
Yeah. But I just got a funny feel. I'm not saying that that he will crash. I think the car will let him down. And I've got one of these feelings where I think Russell. Everyone would think Russell will have a very good season or a very good start of the season, like he did last year. He had not points wise, but reliability wise, his car was good. And I've got a hunch. I've got one of those hunches that I think something will happen to Russell, and maybe it'll be like oh no, here we go again. And then I think things will get better. But I think to start off with, I think Williams might go, I tell you what, let's tease these guys a little bit. Let's tease the fans a bit. But no, I hope he doesn't, because I am a fan of Russell. But I've got a hunch that he will.
Yeah, no, understandable. I do like Russell as well, but that Mercedes power unit in testing is not looking the best. I'm not sure what to take from it though, because you can never really tell in testing. But yeah, they could definitely see a Russell retirement. I've actually put him in 16th, so 2 places ahead of Latifi in my list. I did that because I thought that he wasn't going to have any problems, and that he can pull the car slightly higher up than Latifi can, just due to his skill, and also he's had a year experience now in Formula 1, but I still only feel that he can pull them maybe slightly higher than the Hasses, but he's not going to really challenge Alfa Romeo or anyone like that. Let's move on to the Hasses. So for Mr. Crasher Romain Grosjean, what are you thinking?
I've also got him to retire. I think it's becoming a bit of a tradition that Grosjean seems to be retiring at. Of course, it's out of his own hands. Let's not forget that. I mean, twice he's retired because of a dodgy wheel nut. So that's rather annoying. And the Haas seems to do well in Melbourne. In 2018, they were looking like they were going to have a really good haul of points. And then kind of similar circumstances last year. But of course, K-Mag finished the race, which was awesome. But Grosjean, however, didn't. And he's done it the past 2 years. And I'm just like, hey, why not? Let's do it a third time. Let's make it a Australian Grand Prix and Grosjean retiring at that race equals a really nice combination. I've just got, again, a bit like Russell, I've just got a hunch that it'll happen.
Bit of a hunch. Yeah. Funnily enough, I have written exactly the same as what you just said. Romain Grosjean, DNF, something stupid will happen, similarly to last 2 years with the wheel guns. That's exactly what I've written, So we're definitely in agreement with that one. But as you were mentioning Kevin Magnussen, where do you think he's going to finish?
I've got him down in 14th this year.
Okay.
I say this year, this time. Last year he finished in P6, which was, again, like I said before, it was a
crazy result.
It was a good result, especially looking back at it now. You think that how the hell has he managed to get that Haas into P6? You know what I mean? But that was before everything started going wrong. But Haas, they've done the least amount of mileage out of everybody in testing. Like lap wise, they did 649. I mean, K-Mag had that big shunt. I don't know what day it was, but he lost an entire afternoon, and that would have hindered Haas and himself quite a bit. So I think Haas will be. Everyone's expecting that Haas are going to be like Williams' pace last year, the way some people are going on, and I don't think that's going to be the case. I do think Haas will be not as strong at the start, but maybe improve as the year goes on. But I think for me, K-Mag, because of the lack of mileage that both of them have done, I'm just thinking that maybe they'll want to learn as the season goes on, rather like try and make up for lost time and just go, let's not worry now, let's kind of worry maybe at the midpoint of the season, maybe bringing some upgrades when they understand the car a bit better. That's where I'm kind of at with Kevin Magnussen in Haas. But I'm not going to lie, the midfield predictions, I've just literally wrote some down and just hope for the best, because
pick them out of thin air, basically.
It's so tight, it really is.
Yeah, you really can't call it in the midfield. Yeah, because as you said, you put him at 14th. Yes. I've put him at 17th, so just ahead of Latifi. But very similar points of ice. I was saying they haven't done enough laps in testing to fully iron out all these problems that they've had last year with the tyres and everything like that. And I just feel, you said that they're not going to drop to what Williams were last year. I've got to agree that they're not going to be dropping, being 2 seconds off the pace like Williams were.
Oh yeah,
I feel like
they're not
going to
be
definitely fall back.
Yeah, they're not going to be Williams aren't going to be faster than Haas, but I do think that Williams would have closed that gap between them and
they're
Haas.
Definitely able to battle them. I think a lot better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so moving on to Alfa Romeo and Antonio Giovinazzi. Where have you put him?
I have put him in 16th place this year. 15th.
Okay.
15th last year. Giovinazzi, when I did my season predictions in terms of position in the standings at the end of the year, I've got him above Kimi Raikkonen. I just think that maybe Giovinazzi, a bold one and all. I've just heard a few people watching this video going, "Oh, what? Are you crazy?"
I think I mentally said the same thing as well, mate.
You want to see who I've got as what now? But I'm only kidding. I've always got Hamilton as world champion. But no, I think Giovinazzi, he had a very good strong end to last year. I mean, he struggled at the start, which I kind of thought that's game over. I did judge him quite early, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But he did improve.
I think we all did, definitely.
Yeah. And he did impress me. I'm not, again, at times he was quicker than Raikkonen. It was awesome to see. I just think that maybe he'll start off a bit slow and again gradually improve as the season goes on. He did 323 laps overall in testing, which is, I mean, Alfa Romeo as a whole, they had a quiet test. I didn't hear much from them. They didn't have much reliability issues. I think I know Kimi, he didn't break down, but he ran out of fuel. That was part of the plan. But other than that, they went about their business quite quietly. So Alfa Romeo could literally rock up and have the fourth quickest car. I know that's a bit extreme, but that's how in the dark I am. That's very true. With Alfa Romeo, so I really don't know. But like I said, I've just literally wrote some down and just hope for the best.
Yeah.
So Giovinazzi,
all of this bit is going to be, all of this area of the grid is going to be so difficult to know. Yeah, they could be in 15th and they could be in 5th. Like, it's also in the dark, but you just really have no idea. But I've put him in 15th place for Giovinazzi, and I've just written continues to be meh. Just is a little bit just nothing particularly special, but just puts in some solid results, relatively close to Raikkonen. So that's where I left him. But where did you think Raikkonen was going to be?
I've got him in 12th.
Okay, that's exactly where I put him as well.
In 12th place this year. I mean, like last year he finished 8th, which was a good start. I think he scored Alfa Romeo's. I think he scored in the first 5 races in a row, or 6 races in a row. He was on a pretty good run, and then once he didn't score points, I think it was in Monaco, that's when he kind of stopped scoring the points. But anyways, pretty much, again, I'm not too sure where to put Raikkonen. Again, he could rock up and do really, really well. He could be in that top 10. I wouldn't doubt it, not at all. But I just think that there are a couple of people that are probably better, when I say better, I mean quicker than the Alfa Romeo, than it was this point last year. And of course you'll understand who it is. You probably have a feeling as to who it is, but I'll explain a little bit later on in the video.
Okay. I was going to say about Raikkonen, I was watching another YouTuber the other day, I think it was Aldas, and he was saying how Kimi Raikkonen now he's 40, like he is a pretty old bloke for being in Formula 1, that maybe he doesn't quite have that killer instinct that he might have had with Ferrari. I still think he's a fantastic driver, and it's very easy to forget that in the beginning of last year he was fighting like right at the top end, like for the big points, but near the end he sort of fell off a little bit. So I'm not sure if it will just continue to be a slight gradual decline and then he'll retire at the end of this year, or whether he'll pick up again. We'll have to wait and see. But I put him as 12th as well. So next we have the new team of Alpha Tauri. So Daniil Kvyat, the Russian, with the bass always on in his car. Where'd you put him?
I've got him in 15th place.
Okay.
In 15th place. He scored the last point in the Australian Grand Prix last year in 10th place, which was a good showing from him. Of course, his return back to Formula 1 full time. Similar with AlphaTauri, like they had again a relatively mediocre, quiet test. Nothing really to go off, if I'm honest. Apart from I do like that livery. Again, quite controversial. Just shy of that 400 lap mark was Daniil Kvyat, 399 in test, which was a good innings for the test. AlphaTauri, solid, 769 laps. So again, they're not in a bad position. And of course, they had a really good. I wouldn't say they had like an excellent 2019. I mean, they did get them 2 podiums. But if they didn't get them 2 podiums, they could have been about 6th or 7th or even 8th in the standings, if you know what I mean. So they nearly pipped Renault to 5th place, which is incredible. And I think everyone's getting a bit excited over them because of that form, which I do hope that continues, because I do like a team that you don't think to do well, that won't do well, but they'll do. But I think that they haven't made any. Don't think they'll make any major steps forward. Daniil Kvyat in 15th place. I think that's, again, I can't see him finishing any lower than that, perhaps. But again, unless it's like a 10 car pile up at the start, maybe in that top 10 this year. I really don't know. The grid's so tight. It really, really is. Yeah, we can't stress enough how tight the grid is. But as you're saying with the AlphaTauri livery, I do quite like it, and because I know if you watch Tomo F1's videos, his distaste to the livery, I quite like it. I think what saves it for me is the Honda in the red writing looks
incredible on the side pod, I have to say.
It's the little things that matters.
Yeah, that really, really does it for me. But yeah, for Daniil Kvyat at Australia, a little bit rogue, actually. I've put him in 10th place. So I've said that he's going to score a point, in the first race. I don't know. I've got, as you were saying, all these feelings going on. Just got a feeling that he's going to absolutely storm the start, and he's just going to get into the top 10, and then maybe fall back a few places, have a couple of battles, but stay in 10th to collect a singular point, which I think would be a solid showing from them at the start of the year. And yeah, over the whole year, I don't think that they're going to be. There was a lot of highs and lows of getting a podium and then being in 16th and 17th the next race sort of thing. So I think they're going to be a bit more steady this year with their points coming in, sort of getting 1 or 2 points here and there, but they won't really have any podiums, I don't think, again.
No, I don't think so neither.
Yeah. And moving on to Pierre Gasly, where have you put him?
Well, I've put him in 13th place. Of course, he finished 11th in 2019 in a Red Bull, which isn't ideal.
Not particularly fantastic. Yeah,
he's had a really rocky season, hasn't he? And I think he'll want to try and get off to the best possible start. He excelled when he returned to Toro Rosso, formerly Toro Rosso, may I add. And I think he'll have a solid season. I don't know if he'll get off to a really good start. Maybe pick up a point here and there, but like I said, it could go either way. Gasly could be the best of the rest, or he could be the slowest out of the entire midfield. So it really depends. 370 laps he completed, which isn't too bad. He didn't crash the car this year, which was awesome, unlike twice last year.
Yeah.
But I think Gasly will be on a redemption kind of year, a bit like what Kvyat was on last year, and he excelled at that. So I think Gasly, he's still got a point to prove within the
100%.
Red Bull program. So he's still got something to give, and I think this year he'll show it.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to be pushing a lot harder this year to get the results to prove his worth, sort of thing, in the Red Bull squad. But I'm not sure how well he's going to rise to the challenge, whether he's going to be able to pull these results out again, or whether he's going to bin it under the pressure. We'll have to see. I also put him as 13th in Australia. I just put that he'd have an okay race. Nothing particularly incredible happening and not getting any points, but I feel like later in the season his fortune will start to get a bit better. But yeah, Australia, I'm thinking 13th, just a bit. Yeah. So moving on to the pink Mercedes racing point. So we'll start off with Lance Stroll. Where do you think he's going to be?
I've put him in 9th place this year. Let's be fair. That race point looks really good.
Or tracing point.
Tracing point, yes. The pink Mercedes, whatever you want to call it. I mean, to be fair, I like Racing Point's approach. If you can't beat them, join them. It's what Haas have done, and I think I was watching Sean's prediction. The F1 Words prediction video, constructors last week, I think, or the weekend just gone, sorry. Yeah. And he made a good point of that. Well, to be fair, Racing Point will have a good start, but then they'll have a really quiet end because they've already got a really good car that they're taking off Mercedes' hands, essentially the W10, and that means that they can kind of get the points in early, not develop the car as much, and then focus on 2021 quite soon. So I think Racing Point will have a good start, and I think Stroll will as well. I think absolutely he needs to improve his qualifying, and I'm hoping that he maybe can maybe just sneak into Q3, but I doubt it. Maybe 12th or 13th in qualifying. But we all know how good Stroll is at the start. He gained more laps on the opening lap than anybody else in 2019.
That's pretty incredible.
Pretty good. It is good. So he finished 9th last year, of course. So I'm not expecting miracles from Stroll. I don't mind him. I'm not a Stroll hater, but I'm not a Stroll lover. Let's just see how he does. Let's just see how he gets on. So now for me, Stroll P9, and I think I'm intrigued to see how he will do this year and of course this weekend. No, I'm completely with you on all of that.
I've put him as 9th as well, partially for the fact of the Racing Point being the Mercedes to start the year, and partially just because I agree with you. I'm not on the Stroll hate train. I think he showed with his junior series performances that he actually does have pace, as well as having a lot of money. Yes, he has a lot of money, but I think he can still back it up with decent performances. Yeah. And as you're saying, he wasn't particularly good with his qualifying last year, so I agree he's going to be. I don't think he's going to get out of Q2. I maybe a couple of races he could, but he's going to be a standard Q2 man. But getting it in the starts and finishing around bottom of the top 10, so I thought 9th for Australia was perfect. And his teammate Sergio Perez, what do you think for him?
Well, I've got him as P7, best of the rest.
Nice.
Like, to be fair, pretty much just copy and paste is what I said before about the whole pink Mercedes thing. But I mean, Perez for me is a much better driver than Stroll. Perez is one of the best drivers in the midfield, and I think he will excel in that car. He'll do really well at the start. And if one of the teams up ahead decides to have a really shocking race, or maybe break down or crash into each other or whatever, like the Red Bull or Ferrari or even a Mercedes for that matter, I think Perez could be the one that could collect those points, P6 and P5. But who knows? He might be faster than the Ferraris. He might be faster than the Red Bull. A lot of people are saying that the racing points are going to be well ahead of the Ferraris, and I'm like, just calm down a bit. Let's just see how it goes. You know what I mean? Again, a bit like what I said earlier about people just getting ahead of themselves. But yeah, I think Perez could, like I said, if something does happen up ahead, which could potentially happen, he could scrape up some more points. But I think Perez ideally should be definitely in that top 10. If his race goes ahead, top 10, 100%. Where in that top 10 is anybody's guess. So my guess is P7.
Yeah, no, completely agree with all your points there. I put him down as P6. I put my note with it as just pink Mercedes plus his pace equals wow. So I think he's going to pull something out of the bag. And I've also thought that P6, I think he's going to be able to battle with the front three. I think you can guess that it's probably one of the Ferraris I'm going to put behind him. But I think that the Racing Point and the Ferrari are going to be able to have a relatively good battle on the edge of Red Bull. And I think they're going to be closer, but as you said, then I think Ferrari are going to have developments coming pretty quickly, and they're just going to drop off. But I think in Australia, Sergio can really, really bring the fight to Ferrari and Red Bull. So next is Renault. So we'll start off with their new driver, Esteban Ocon.
I've got him as my third and final retirement of the Grand Prix.
Interesting. Why do you think that?
Because it's his first race back. Everyone's going to be watching him. I think something will go wrong. I think he'll break down or even crash. Driver error. And again, like with my other two, Russell and Grosjean, I've got a hunch. It's written in the stars for him to possibly beat Ricciardo on his home turf and kind of...
That would be a big upset.
Prove a point. That would be massive if he did do that. But I've just got a feeling that something will happen to Ocon. Like I said, written in the stars, his return to Formula 1, how is it going to do? And once that happens, once he does retire, like if my race does pan out the way it does, again, I think the media will be on Ocon, like, just immediately, like, people like us will just jump on YouTube and go, right, Ocon's he doesn't deserve Formula 1, he should be out within like one race.
Yeah,
like, just
back to being test driver for you.
Yeah, exactly. Get back where you belong. But obviously, I'm not like massive on Ocon. I think he is a good driver. Is he Formula 1 worthy? Absolutely. Is he World Championship material? Maybe not. But again, time will tell and see what happens. But Renault are a team that have to improve. 743 laps they did in testing, 7th overall in terms of lap time total, and Renault had a shocking 2019. It was written in the stars for them to be podiums. Well, I say podium, maybe 1 or 2 podiums here and there, but I don't know. Again, Renault, I don't think it'll be as... I think more an improved season, but not to where they were in 2018.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I've got to firstly stipulate that Jordan and I have not compared notes before making this video.
No, yes, we literally jumped on and just...
We just jumped straight on. I've got Esteban Ocon down as my other DNF because he's going to crash it because he's under pressure with his first race back. It's exactly what I put.
How good would it be, though, right, if he crashed into Perez for turn 1?
Oh my goodness, that would be crazy.
Even Verstappen.
That's what I was going to say, yeah. Verstappen. Although I don't know how far the grid Ocon will be able to do, because if Verstappen's in like 3rd and Ocon's in like 10th, that would be an absolute send.
That just sends it down the inside. Or even at the Dutch Grand Prix, Ocon hits Verstappen.
Oh my goodness. He wouldn't be able to lead the track. He'd just get mobbed.
He wouldn't. Let's move on before we start upsetting people.
Okay. Let's move on, make everyone a bit happier. Move on to Daniil Ricciardo. Where do you think he's going to be?
Danny Rick. I've got him in P10. I hope Daniil Ricciardo ends up finishing this Grand Prix this time. I mean, very unlucky not to finish last year. Of course, he hit that dip.
Have you seen that they paved over where the dip was?
Yes, I've seen. Yes, they have. Yeah. So immediately, just that's not going to happen again. I mean, what happens if he starts on the other side of the grid and the same thing happens there?
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it.
No, I'm not jinxing it. Maybe some Aussies watching good. But no, I'm hoping Ricciardo. I mean, of course he won't get the podium unless, like I said earlier, there's a 10-car pile up at the start, which again I doubt is. I would love nothing more than to see Ricciardo on a podium in Australia. We got a glimpse of it in 2014, but that didn't stand. So we kind of have, but haven't.
He's almost been there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think he will. 10th place for me. I think he should be hopefully getting into the points for Renault opening race in this home crowd. Maybe a bit higher. Maybe if that car does feel good and it feels better than what he thought, maybe creep up to P9 and P8. But I'm hoping that Ricciardo does end up scoring some points. He could potentially be the best of the rest, maybe P7 or even P6, which would be truly incredible.
That would be a big step for Renault moving forward, definitely. I've put him down as P11, so I don't think they're going to score any points. I think that Renault are going to continue like promising the world, but not really having it happen for them. Like just having unlucky with the power unit, and then just having bad luck in the races. And again, just Ricciardo having a bit of a meh race, battling with Ricciardo possibly and Pierre Gasly for that outside of the points places, but not quite challenging up with the rest of the guys. And moving on to, I'd say, definitely one of my favourite teams, and a lot of people's favourite teams, McLaren. So we'll start off with Lando Norris, the meme boy. Where are you putting him?
I'm putting him in P11. McLaren are I'm classing as my team, the team that I support. I support everyone. I support every driver, every team. But if I had to choose one, I would choose McLaren because of when I got into Formula 1, Lewis Hamilton days type of thing, and I've just been a supporter ever since. But I'm putting Lando in P11, and I think, like I said, it's going to be so tight. And I think because that, I mean, I said I was going to refer to this earlier, but I think that racing point is going to be so quick at the start that those teams that were ahead at race point last year will be behind them. So Alfa Romeo, I thought, were faster than the race point last year. Obviously McLaren were, lucky for Sainz, of course. And Norris, of course, he had a really good qualifying. If you remember, I think it was P7, was it P7 or P6 in his opening qualifying? Anyways, and he didn't score points that day, which was annoying. But I think because Racing Point will be ahead, I think that will shift a few teams back, and I think that will push Lando outside the point. If Racing Point had a similar kind of pre-season than they have the past couple of years, I think I would put Lando a bit higher. But because of that, I'm thinking just outside the point. Ricciardo, it might go down the last lap between Ricciardo and Norris. I think because of experience, I think Ricciardo might send it late braking down the inside, maybe I don't know, like turn 12 or something like that, or whatever, and then just get him on the last lap, and I'll be crying. I'll be crying in that coffee. I'll be really tired, really happy, but really tired and crying that Lando's off the point.
Very mixed emotions.
Yeah, but I'm all over the place.
I've put him a little bit higher than you. I put him in 8th. So I just said, because as we've been over, that McLaren had a very quiet pre-season, didn't really say much, just put in the laps, did what they needed to do. I think they're going to have a solid car. I don't think it's going to be quite at the pink Mercedes level, but I still think it's going to be the front of the rest of the midfield. And I think that Lando, now with more experience, is going to be able to bring it home in the race, not just do a good qualifying and then full backloads. I think he's going to be able to. I think he's going to qualify around 9th, 8th, 7th, that kind of thing, and then finish around the same bit. I think he's going to be able to hold it, but nothing particularly crazy or special, him going for a podium or anything like that. So moving on to Carlos Sainz. Where have you put him?
I've put him in the same position that you put Lando Norris. I put him in P8. Put him in P8. Of course, like I said before, he DNF last year. Really heartbroken at that. I was hoping for better. He did the second most laps in testing, 446, which is solid job. McLaren,
very solid.
Pretty much, similar to Alfa Romeo, they just quietly went about their business. Nothing. They didn't show like electric kind of pace, but they didn't really show poor reliability. They just kind of went quietly about their business. 802 laps they did in testing, which is a good benchmark to kind of go into the season with. So I'm confident McLaren can kick on from that and maybe scrape in a few more points if luck goes their way. I think they'll finish the season as best of the rest. At the moment, I don't think they are, because like I said before, that racing point is going to be good. Carlos Sainz at P8. I think again in that point, definitely a bit like what I said about Sergio Perez. In that point, definitely 100%. Where is anybody's guess? It could be P6, could be anywhere, but I've got him down in P8.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I would have definitely said that Carlos would be in the points on pace and that the car they've got, as you said, about all the testing laps and everything that they've done. Got loads of data in that, but I feel like he's going to be involved in something. Like the feeling that you've got for Russell, I have for Carlos Sainz. I think he's going to be, I don't know, in a spin or some sort of problem or a crash, but he's going to be able to recover from it. I think he's going to bring it back to around P14 is what I put down. So possibly in a little crash with Ocon near the start, maybe. I don't know. That's where I'm feeling, but that is very, very out there because that is on absolutely no data or knowledge that I have in my head. That is completely random. But yeah, 14th I put for Carlos Sainz. Good. So we move on to the top three teams, starting with Red Bull Racing and Alex Albon. You're not going to put him last, are you?
No, I'm going to put him second off last. No, I'm only kidding. I've got him in P6. Best of the rest. Slowest of the top six.
Top team.
Yeah, top teams. Of course, finished 14th here last year in that Toro Rosso. Of course, I mean, what a year he's had. Yeah, last year from no Formula One to Red Bull race, and now he's got that seat for another year.
Absolutely crazy.
I think Albon, there is pressure on Albon straight away. I've said this before in videos that Red Bull kind of put Albon in that seat. Albon had really kind of not as much pressure as what Gasly did, because I think Albon more or less had that seat, unless he did a much worse job than Gasly,
which would have been tough.
To be fair, how could he? If I'm totally honest, he had that seat in the bag. Red Bull were too far ahead of McLaren. They're too far away from Ferrari. They had that third place in the bag. Of course, they could gamble, put in a young driver in there. It paid off. So Albon needs to deliver. He absolutely has to. And if not, I don't know what will happen to him. I hope they give him the season like they did with Gasly. But anyways, Albon, I really like Albon. I think he'll have a good, solid race. I don't know how good, whether he'll be competitive or whether he'll just be. I've got a feeling that he'll just have a quiet race where he will be maybe a few seconds away from like the Ferraris, but I think he'll be strokes ahead of maybe the racing points and the McLarens and stuff like that. So I can't see him being challenged there, but I think he'll just have a mediocre, quiet race. Nothing much from Albon. I don't think there's much to say on him, but I think he needs to have a good start to the season to kind of ease the pressure if things start going wrong in the mid part of the season, which normally tends to happen. Yeah,
hopefully propel him to keep the seat for longer. I personally think that there is no chance of him losing the seat now. I think the performances he showed at the end of last year, and even having some bad luck like in Brazil where he got punted off by Hamilton and things like that, I think he still showed the amount of heart he has, for one, and the pace that he has. So I've actually gone pretty rogue. I've put him as finishing second in the race.
Ooh,
so I think that he's going to get his first podium Yeah, so definitely balls out for that prediction. But yeah, I think he's going to have like a fine qualifying, usual sort of 4th, 5th, 6th, that kind of area. Yeah. But I think he's just going to storm through the race, putting in consistent laps, not doing anything too crazy or too mental dive bombs. But I think he'll just be nice and consistent, just putting in the laps, just doing his time, and I think it'll work out for him. I think he'll get 2nd. So.
I don't think that's fine.
Definitely my most rogue one on the grid, 100%.
I hope you're right. I would love Albon to get on the podium. Yeah. I do. Like I said, I like him. I hope you're right with that one.
Yeah, no, he's such a nice guy. I just want him to do well. And moving on to his teammate, Max Verstappen, where do you think he's going to finish?
I've got him as my race winner.
Really? Interesting.
Yes. Now, I made my predictions in our preview, which may or may not be out by the time this goes out. I'm not too sure. I'm a bit all over the place with videos, recording as much as possible.
I am as well, don't worry.
Because it was just like last minute, we're like, oh, the season's coming up soon. Oh wait, the season's coming up soon. We've got nothing planned.
Oh my god, it's next week.
Panic mode. I think everyone's saying Hamilton to win the Grand Prix. Now, Hamilton's only won here twice. He's finished 2nd here. His last win was 2015, and ever since then he's finished in 2nd place. So, and I think that'll be the same again. I've just kind of given away that prediction, but anyways, Verstappen finished here 3rd, first time on the podium in Australia, which was a good foundation to kick off the season with. After a half bad 2018, like started off bad, then got consistent, then he had a consistent 2019, which was what he needed. I just think that there's something about that. First of all, that Red Bull is quick. That is going to be a quick car. I mean, this is probably a bold prediction from this. I'm just buying the whole. I don't know if I think that car will be better than it is last year. I think Verstappen is hungry for that title. He'll want to do the best he possibly can. Albert Park is a track where it's no one's really strong necessarily. I mean, over the years we've seen the Mercedes do well there, then the Ferraris, and then Red Bull. So it's a track where it favours anybody, if I'm honest, anyone that can get the right setup, get the tyres working as quickly as possible, get that right strategy on the go, and it's anybody's win. Like we've seen the races won and lost purely on strategy, and I think if Red Bull see the pace and go, do you know what? Let's undercut the Mercedes. Let's overcut the Mercedes. Let's try something different.
Yeah.
Be bold. Go for it. What we've got to lose? Hey, race winner. There we go. I think Verstappen will end up like that, and I'm hoping for a close battle at the front between the Mercs and the Red Bull. Like I said, I'm probably going a bit bold with this one. Maybe Hamilton and Bottas could potentially win that Grand Prix, but I'm just going off previous races. So I'm just saying, for me, Verstappen, definitely. Well, I say definitely. My guess is race winner.
Nice. Okay, interesting. We definitely haven't compared notes on this one because I've put him down as coming 5th. So I don't think he's going to have a very good race at all.
Albon ahead of Verstappen.
Yeah, definitely. I think Albon's going to be ahead of Verstappen. I don't know. I feel like obviously Verstappen has amazing pace. I just feel like he's just going to bin it. I don't know. I just think he's going to bin it. I feel like I remember in Drive to Survive the first season, so it would have been 2 years ago. Verstappen drops it at I think it's the first corner.
Yeah, where he spins
it.
I remember seeing that moment live, going like, "Oh, Verstappen, no, man, what are you doing?"
Yeah. I think he's going to do something like that again, either get in a kerfuffle or just spin it by himself. And I think he'll probably be in the podium places at that time, and then just bin it down to like lower end of the top 10, and just have to fight his way back up for a sort of a P5, P4 type thing. But yeah, that's all I really have to say on Verstappen. I don't know. I'm not going to give my position on Verstappen in case I annoy anyone. But yeah, I think 5th place for him will be fine. But yeah, it might be a bit of an upset if Albon beats him. Maybe Albon can become number 1 driver. That's never going to happen. That's never going to happen.
I was going to say, yeah, I think that is pretty bold.
Yeah, that would be pretty bold. That's why we have the title.
Albon ahead of Verstappen, question mark.
All right, let's move on to the Ferraris. So, been a bit slow in testing, but where do you think Mr. Charles Leclerc is going to finish?
Charles, I like Charles. I'm a big fan of Charles. I've said P4. 5th place he finished here last year. Ferraris last year were, I couldn't believe how slow they were. Everybody was banging on that Ferrari pace drum, just going, Ferrari will, like we're seeing 2017, 2018, they looked quick. very quick. To be fair, the car was quick. 2019, I was like, I think here we go. Like before qualifying, I went, this is going to be a Ferrari dominant here. Like Mercedes lock out the front row and run away with it, and everyone's left scratching their heads going,
what?
How on earth is Ferrari not got a podium from that testing? It was just like, I don't know what was more surprising, how slow Williams were or how slow Ferrari were. It was just like, I couldn't believe it. I'm not thinking that Ferrari are that slow in testing. I'm not buying it. However, I think Ferrari is
tough one to call.
The trickiest one, because I say I'm not buying it, and I'm saying that they are quicker than what they're making out to be, but I've got them down P4 and P5, and that I'm going off testing there, and I really shouldn't be. I just can't see Ferrari going any higher. First of all, that Mercedes looks incredible. I can't see them beating that. And yeah, I mean, a Ferrari might sneak on the podium if I'm totally wrong with Verstappen, and if you're correct with Verstappen, and if he bins it or spins it or whatever, maybe the Ferrari could sneak up onto the podium. My money's on Charles,
100%
over Seb, but a Ferrari, a very, very tricky one. I mean, 844 laps in testing, which is good, but they were like a few tenths of a second away from the fastest lap overall in testing, which again, you shouldn't go off. But
timings can't be trusted testing.
Yes, do not trust them, as we've seen in recent years. But I don't know. Every year you've got a reference to them, I suppose.
It's the only thing we can go off, really.
Exactly, yeah. And so yeah, for Charles Leclerc P4. That's I put him as P4 as well. It's very tricky.
I put him as P4 as well. I think he's going to have just a solid race. As you said, I think there's just going to be just a bit of a gap. If something goes wrong between the guys in the top three, I reckon the Ferraris could definitely sneak onto the podium. As you said, I would definitely back Charles as well to be the one that does that over Vettel. But yeah, I think he's going to have a bit of a lonely race, just sort of being sat behind Mercedes and Albon, but then being ahead of the crash Verstappen and all of them behind. So we'll have to wait and see with that. But his older teammate, Sebastian Vettel, where do you think he's going to be?
Well, I've got him in P5. Just behind him.
Just behind him.
Yeah, just behind him. I think Ferrari will have. I'm not saying that one will be quicker than the other, like massively. I think that they'll be like quite similar to last year. They were both had the roughly same amount of pace. They're roughly within like a couple of car lengths between one another. It was just shocking. Is how it panned out last year. Seb, I don't want to like disrespect Seb, because let's not forget his 4 world titles. Alright, you could argue, well, he had the best car and everything, but at the end of the day, he finished first, he got the titles, and he won 4 of them, which is incredible. Yeah, absolutely incredible. It hasn't worked out his move at Ferrari. Certainly, I know Ferrari are saying it's equal terms, but that 5-year contract that Charles has got is just making me think I doubt it. I really, really doubt it. I just think that they'll favour Charles more. He is the future of the team, of course. Seb is coming to the end of his career, whether he stays for another year or not. Rumour is he is signing another deal, a 1-year extension. But I don't know how it will go. I think Seb, if that car is as bad as what Ferrari are saying, then maybe Seb might not try as hard. He might be like, what's the point? This car's useless. This car's rubbish. Yeah. He might walk away. I don't know. Like I said, it's so tricky with Ferrari, because they could turn up to Australia and just block out the front row, and like Mercedes last year, run away with it.
That would be amazing.
Seb might win. That would be incredible to see. I think nothing against Seb. I just think Charles will just pip him again throughout the course of the season. I'm hoping Ferrari get a few race wins, which I think they will, but no for me. Seb P5. He's won here three times. Yeah, 3 times. So he knows the track well. Of course, he's been here before. I think this is 13th season, I think, off the top of my head. So yeah, P5, there's nothing much more to say on Seb.
No, he's definitely got a lot of experience. But I don't know, I just don't rate Vettel at all. I think he was fantastic when he was with Red Bull. He has had not particularly incredible cars with Ferrari, which is understandable, but he just hasn't really brought the pace either, I would say. I think Charles is definitely the future for the team, and I've heard rumours that he's going to be signing another year extension, but I've also heard some rumours that Ricciardo is looking at signing for Ferrari as well.
I heard that too,
we'll have to wait and see on that one. I personally think that Ricciardo would definitely be a better person to be in Ferrari partnering Leclerc, but again, that's up for debate. I've put Vettel as finishing 7th in the Grand Prix, so I think that he's going to have an alright qualifying and qualify near sort of the top end of the top 5, but that he's going to be dropping back, just won't really have the pace, and is going to get in a battle with Perez, and then just get stuck in the middle of the top 10s, really. So I think 7th is probably about right for him. Maybe a little bit higher if other people have crashes and that, but otherwise P7, I would say. And moving on to Mercedes, our final team, we'll start off with Valtteri Bottas. Where do you think he's going to finish?
I've got him in P3. Last year's race winner. He had obviously, to be fair, you couldn't ask for a better start for Valtteri Bottas. He was under I wouldn't say so much pressure, but he was under a bit of pressure from winless 2018. So 2019, he got off to the best possible way. He made his statement. He made his points very clear on team radio. Yeah, to make concern. How's that? So I don't think he'll have that kind of pace again. But then again, like I said, it's so hard to. Fans are getting me on first.
You're definitely on the hardest one.
I'm on the hardest one of the lot. But like, I'm like a broken record in this video. I keep saying like, let's see what happens, or my turn up will be really slow. But no, I think because I've got Verstappen to finish P1, I did kind of give away where Hamilton was. So I think for me P3 Bottas. He won't do anything spectacular, but I did say though in my season prediction videos to who to finish where, I said Bottas to finish quite low. I think I said Bottas to finish P5 in the standings at the end of the season, and that's because I think Mercedes will back Hamilton that much because he's on the brink of breaking Schumacher's record, and I think they'll want that to happen in their car. Absolutely. So I think for me, the priority for Hamilton will increase even more than what it has done in recent years. So I think for me, it'll hinder Bottas a lot this season. I think this could be one of them races. I don't know about that, but as time goes on, I think Mercedes will be prioritising Hamilton way over Bottas.
100%, yeah.
P3.
Yeah, I agree. I think they'll be prioritising him a lot for all these records he's going to break, and then wanting to have that under their sort of marketing wing, being able to use that as look how amazing we are, but we can do this. So I've put him as P3 as well. Just sort of does what he needs to do as the rear gunner. Although he doesn't like being called the second driver. He definitely is the second driver, and he'll just be 100%. The rear gunner. Stopping people from getting to Hamilton, but I do think Albon will be able to slip past him. I think that Albon has better race pace, or will be better at getting the position off Bottas, and Bottas just won't be able to hold it. So I think P3 for him. But for Lewis Hamilton, so you've put him the one place that is left, which is
P2.
P2. Why's that?
Well, I pretty much kind of explained it when I was talking about Max Verstappen. I just said that Hamilton, in the past couple of years, he's finished in P2 ever since he won in 2015. He's finished in that position ever since. He doesn't have a good record here. It's not a track. I mean, pole position wise, I think he's got everyone since 2014, I believe. I could be wrong, but I'm
it's
sure
definitely a lot.
So in qualifying here, he's unbeatable. Race pace, something always happens to him. He got screwed over. I'll get my words out. Screwed over with strategy a couple of years in 2017, 2018, and then he had a bit of floor damage, and Bottas ran away with it about 25 seconds ahead. Maybe that hindered him a bit, but I don't know. But I think Hamilton P2, reasonable. Could be race winner, absolutely could be race winner. But because of his record here, I'm going off that rather than testing itself. But I mean, 466 laps he did in testing, most out of anybody. Mercedes, 903 laps, guys. Wow, that is absolutely crazy. That is just nuts, absolutely nuts. So Mercedes are in the best position right now, clearly. Strong season from them. I think a strong race from Hamilton. Pole position. I think maybe Max could send it again down the inside, maybe get his elbows out a bit and just Hamilton doing a battle, or have it in the gravel. There we go. Maybe a bit too aggressive. That could be quite interesting to see, but again, let's see how it goes, because like I said, Ferrari could rock up and be the quickest car by a country mile. But from what I'm kind of got to go off at the moment, for me, Lewis Hamilton P2. Like I said, could be race winner, no problem.
I completely agree with your points with Hamilton, but I put him down as finishing in first position. So I think he's going to take the win. I honestly think he's going to qualify on pole. As you said, he's been pretty dominant with his pole positions. And I think he's just going to drive off into the sunset, to be honest. I think he's just going to get in first and go, and you won't see him again. All the others fighting behind, but yeah, he'll just have a pretty comfortable race and a comfortable win, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I've said that the past couple of years and it hasn't happened, so I've just kind of went in a totally different direction. But now I've done that, I think your prediction will come true.
Now he's just going to have an easy race.
Yeah, he'll just run away with it. 30 seconds ahead, no problem. Easy does it. And yeah, we're back to another Mercedes dominant season.
Well, sadly, that's all we have for today, guys. I again want to thank Jordan from the F1 Debate Show for joining me today. Thank you very much, Jordan.
No, thank you for having me on, mate. Really have enjoyed myself. I mean, certainly a bit different to like your normal prediction videos, like you have your top 3 and top 5 and what have you. But we did the full top 20, and a couple of retirements, of course. Very different, and probably the trickiest weekend to have us on, or to make predictions.
Yeah, I definitely threw you in at the deep end.
Yeah, with it being the first race and all. But no, I had a really good time, mate. Really enjoyed it, and yeah, just thank you for having me on. Really appreciate it.
No worries, mate. Thank you for being on. Yeah, be sure to check out Jordan's channel. He shares it with Lyle. So yes. Be sure to check them out. Their link is going to be in the description for some very interesting videos where, funnily enough, they debate about Formula 1. So enjoy.
I don't know what gives that away. I really don't. And if anybody has come across from our channel and you haven't subscribed to is it Moto Meerkat your channel's called?
Moto Meerkat.
Moto Meerkat, really cool name. Then please drop it a subscribe as well. Did some really good videos, about Ineos as well quite recently, and of course about the coronavirus. That's doing the rounds. So yeah, really good content, really good channel. Certainly.
Cheers.
Just click that subscribe button, guys.
Buddy.
No problem.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, everyone press subscribe. Come on, you got to do it now.
Please.
Now Jordan's told you to. You've got to do it. But yeah, that is all for today, folks. As I said, if you did like the video, be sure to press that like button and share it with a friend. Subscribe to Moto Meerkat. As we just said, I'll be releasing loads of new episodes of this F1 predictions video with loads of new exciting guests. Comment below what you think the finishing order of the race on Sunday in Melbourne is going to be, and I'll see you later. Bye, guys.